Good evening. Welcome. Thank you for coming out to Arden's Garden. I appreciate you all being here. And thank you to those of you watching at home. Please give a warm welcome to tonight's guest, Mr. Stevie Coyle.
Well, thank you. Sure you say that now. can turn the world on with a smile, who can take a nothing day and suddenly make it all seem worthwhile. Well, it's you, girl, and you should know it. With each glance and every little movement you show it, love is all around, no need to waste it. You can have the town, why don't you take it? You're gonna make it after all. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you. You're very kind. Very kind. Nice to see you. How are you? Fine. How are you? It's not a show until the performer asks the audience how they're doing. We were informed of this recently, and we've made it policy ever since. So just to reconfirm, Scooter Libby is not here tonight, is that correct? He was indicted, you know. If, if we could, I think he was indicted for being named Scooter. Bet you anything. Oh, you know what? Here we go. This is the first of several sing-along portions for this evening, so feel free to. You know, does Scooter have a first name, a real first name? Lewis?
Irving.
Lewis. Lewis Irving Scooter Libby. Let's just hold that thought while we explore. Oh, here we go. Since I was a young boy, I played the silver ball. From Soho down to Brighton, I must have played them all. But I ain't seen anything like him in any amusement hall. That deaf, dumb, and blind kid sure plays excellent. Thank you. He stands like a statue, becomes part of the machine. Feeling all the bumpers, always playing clean. He plays by intuition, the digit counters fall. That deaf, dumb, and blind kid. Excellent. You guys rock. He's a pinball wizard. Sing, damn it! Be a twist. A pinball wizard's got such a supple wrist. choir. It's a boy. It's a boy, Mrs. Walker. It's a boy. A son, a son, everybody's son. Nicely done. Nicely done. All right. Thanks a lot. This is sort of old. Oh, they're up there on their feet. It's a walking ovation for old Stevie here tonight. Well, those, it's kind of bright. I can't see if that was an ex-wife or not. Well, it's Old Home Week here. Went to high school over in Salinas there. Thank you very much. Oh, let it out. Let it out. All those great feelings for Salinas. Let them out. And I got here and I thought I had died. And this was just a nice way of telling me. Oh, by the way, Stevie, you're dead. This is beautiful. Look at this.
Resurrection.
A Jesuit-trained individual as well? We can jam on the Latin Mass later if you like. Well, here's, I love this old song. This is an old Jim Reeves song. Sometimes they ask me if I'm really happy now. I say sure, I never loved her anyhow. But inside I long for you and the way it used to be. I look around and there's a heartache following me. I always say that I'm really glad you're gone. I even act like I never cared at all. But your memory lingers on, and I'm never really free. I look around and there's a heartache following me. Upon my ring and everything that tied me to the past, I say I never loved her, never meant for it to last. But I know it's just a game, and the loser is always me. I look around and there's a heartache following me. Sometimes they ask me if I'm really happy now.
There it is. Thanks a lot. Thanks. You know who I heard do that song once is, do you folks know Sarah Elizabeth Campbell? On one of those bummer nights in Austin. She used to have a regular Tuesday night show called Bummer Night, and she'd invite all her friends to come in and sing songs, but they all had to be at least that sad. Bummer Night. Oh, 36:24, 36:21. I'm counting backwards here, Arden. What's the time like?
We're good, Stevie.
Are we good?
Yeah, why don't you play another one, then we'll break.
That's a good idea. That was my thought exactly. Exactly. Did you folks take in Hardly Strictly Bluegrass? Was that astonishing or what? Write a letter, please, because I understand Warren Hellman's family is telling him he can't do that again next year. They want some of the inheritance for themselves. And unbelievable. Just flabbergasting. Just, if you get a chance, write old Warren a note and let him know how much you loved it. Here's had a number of requests for this one. One's a number, isn't it? Yeah. We were talking in the green room before there about murder ballads, and you just can't. It's the obligatory. We're in the obligatory portion of the program this evening, so the compulsories here. So here comes. This one you don't quite get to the murder, but in the true folk process, you see it happening here, and there's a whole nother spring off the tree here. There's a whole nother twig off of this tree, this folk tree, this story of he done her wrong, and she's angry about it, and that has to do with diseases, and we can talk about that at the break or something if you want, because that's, streets of Laredo. It's, think about it, I'm serious. Before penicillin, folk music came from the strangest quarters. What the heck am I talking about? Here's where it all began. This one goes back about at least 600 years, and probably before that. There are many, many versions of the song, but here's one kind of developed by Andy Irving. Blacksmith courted me 9 months and better. He fairly won my heart, wrote me a letter with his hammer in his hand. He looked quite clever, and if I was with my love, I'd live forever. But where is my love gone, with his cheeks like roses and his good black billy cock on, decked round with primroses? I'm afraid the scorching sun will shine and burn his beauty, and if I was with my love, I'd do my duty. Strange news is come to town, strange news is carried, strange news flies up and down, that my love is married. I wish them
much joy, though they can't hear me, and may God reward them well for the slighting of me. Don't you remember when you lay beside me and you said you'd marry me and not deny me? If I said I'd marry you, it was only for to try you. So bring your witness, love, and I'll not deny you. Oh, witness, have I none, save God Almighty, and may He reward you well for the slighting of me. Her lips grew pale and wan, it made her poor heart to tremble, to think she loved a one, and he proved deceitful.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thank you. Lovely. Very kind.
We're going to give you folks in the audience a chance to ask Stevie questions, but first we're going to let those people who are watching at home know that tonight's guest is Stevie Coyle, and you can find him on the internet at www.steviecoyle.com.
There you are.
There you go. If you have a question for Stevie, oh well, here we go.
I was wondering, what's your favorite song to play?
Wow, tough call. Changes every hour or so. I'll play it in the second set. How's that?
Okay.
Whatever it is, I'll play it in the second set.
Okay.
All right.
Anybody else? Nobody has any insightful questions right now? Okay, here we go.
How long have you been playing?
I might have to take off my shoes and socks and to count this up. And since I was about 9. Thanks, Maggie. Thanks. Since I was about 9, my dad used to bring home records from the radio station where he worked, and I fell in love with an album called Alvin and the Chipmunks Play the Beatles Hits.
That explains a lot.
It really does. I'm transparent as glass to you, Arden.
And for those of you who are not aware, Stevie is a member of a group called the Waybacks.
Thanks. I'll tell him you said so. Thanks.
Let's see a question over here on the side.
Yes, sir.
How many different incarnations of the Waybacks have you been in? I've seen you with 3. And I mean, the latest, greatest, and then it goes back a ways from there. So.
Several iterations, yeah. Back to the original iteration, which was myself and Wayne Jakes and Glenn Pomenack as an acoustic trio.
And do you like small venues like this, or do you appreciate the stadiums that you normally do?
Stadiums. Well, you're very kind. I didn't realize just how kind you were. No, this is so hip to be able to just sit and be in the same room with folks. And you're playing on a big stage sometimes, especially if it's nighttime. It's just a wall of light out there. You don't see anything, you know. So knowing that you're in the same room with folks is always a great treat. It's all good, as the young people say, you know. Everything's just love you, young people. I love your energy.
Stevie, I hear you've got a solo project coming out. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Well, yeah, it's me and guitar and some generally it's essentially what it is a bunch of weepy, melancholy fingerstyle tunes and alternate tunings. It's great. It'll be terrific.
And when can we expect this to hit the streets?
The band actually is we're taking a little breather here in December and January, and then we'll be firing up again in February, so I'll be recording like crazy in December and January and hope to have it out in time for, springtime.
Excellent.
Yeah, yeah.
Excellent.
Be all right. A lot of original stuff in there, previously unheard by an unsuspecting public.
Fabulous. Anyone else have anything they'd like to ask Stevie?
Oh, just make something up if you can't.
Well, you know, we can always just bring down the lights and go back into the music. Maybe that's what they'd really like to do.
Well, why don't we do a sing-along? Well, that's on the list. Yeah, that's on there. Yeah, yeah. Let me tune here real quick. Like I should have done that while the lights were up. Now see, this is so frustrating. Truth in advertising is dead. See, now that, you know, was advertised as a B string, and it's not a B. That's not right. Look, see, right there. They don't tell you there's a do-it-yourself component to... Yeah, a tuner. A guy to tune guitars and hand them to you on stage. Charlie Tuner. That's right. You're old, man. Wow. We're Charlie Tuna. Wow. Well, you know, he had the little beret, the beatnik. He was the beatnik fish, wasn't he? So he got canned. He did. Well, let's, you know, join me, would you? Let's see here. A little slower, a little slower. You white people always want to rush things. There we go. Here's a little beat poem for you. Charlie Tuna. Wow. That's a little neuron that hasn't fired in 30 years. When I was 17 and just a little bit bewildered, feeling cheated and hungover in the wake of adolescence, my recruiter took my number and he graded my exam. He said, you'd be a perfect soldier, except you got no depth perception. Said, I want to serve my country and I got so much potential. He said, what you lack in weight you more than make up for in density. You see, I'd always suffered from a lack of self-esteem, so if my country doesn't want me, then I'll serve the Catholic Church. So I enrolled in seminary where I memorized the gospel, but they caught me reading on the road and threw me on my butt. There were a bunch of other factors which I won't enumerate. So then I'm sitting in my parents' Norman Rockwell living room and being still so as to hear my ego crashing in my ears when the voice of reason says, son, have you thought about the future? And I get real sick, but now I'm fine. I'm really fine. Oh, thank you so much. By 23, I'd gained a sort of enigmatic drive, and having no success with suicide, I thought I'd turn to art. So I acquired a set of brushes and I went without a bath, which presumably implied I had a new set of beliefs, but I'd underestimated the important role of talent, which was easily apparent from the record of my sales. And in the meantime, I'd severely strained a muscle in my thigh, attempting to sustain the lotus on a neighbor's kitchen table. In the hospital, I thought of doing something for the world, but the Peace Corps didn't answer, so I joined a cooking school, having always held and cherished an affinity for food. But my self-respect deflated with an undercooked souffle, and I was back to bussing tables at that Denny's in Salinas where I sort of snapped, but now I'm well. I'm really well.
Yeah, it's a long story how I got to say now I'm well. My mother always told me to be more like my dad. I asked her more like which one of the 5 that I'd had. She said a change is coming, don't go feeling so used. I said my only problem is I'm chronically confused. On my 27th birthday, which occurred about that age, I was talking to the analyst who found me selling incense at an airport after having left the clinic. About a crisis and some silly Venice metaphor for sinking in the soul, when my thought was interrupted by a birthmark on my arm which looks a little like Nebraska. I'd forgotten since those 2 weeks of pre-med in junior college, which I quit to study judo. And I looked at all the meat and marrow someone stuck together, all these veins and vital organs, all this gray and white, all humming and collaborating and ticking and recycling and making that Nebraska on my arm a possibility. And I got it from the couch and I shouted, "Hey, I own this thing!" And my analyst suspected I was closing on the edge, and I convinced him when I said I wouldn't send him any money. He said, "Don't go getting cocky 'cause you've had one revelation, 'cause the only tool you've got against psychosis is experience, and yours has all been bad." I said, "You're darn right, but now I'm good. I'm really good. Excellent, yes, now I'm good. I'm well, fine, and good. It took a long time for me to wake up and see."
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. That's a true story. Even if it never did happen.
There is a place I know, way down in Mexico, high in the old Sierra Madre, where many an outlaw band from across the Rio Grande have found a haven, a holdout, a hideaway. But danger rides with those who stray upon this secret hideaway, where death is sure to welcome anyone within the law. But if a man must run from any lawman's gun, he'll find compadres in the old Sierra Madres. Deep in the dark of night, beside the campfire's light, they weave the tales of the lives of the bandits, of jewels rare and old, of coaches filled with gold, of hold-ups pulled off like they planned it. But danger rides with those who stray upon this secret hideaway, where death is sure to welcome anyone within the law. But if a man must run from any lawman's gun, he'll find compadres in the old Sierra Madres. Dark at night, beside the campfire's light, they weave the tales of the lives of bandits, of jewels rare and old, of coaches filled with gold, of hold-ups pulled off just like they planned it. But danger rides with those who stray upon this secret hideaway, where death is sure to welcome anyone within the law. But if a man must run from any lawman's gun, he'll find compadres in the old Sierra Madre. Everybody, there is a place I know, way down in Mexico, excellent, high in the old Sierra Madre, where many an outlaw band from across the Rio Grande have found a haven, a holdout, a hideaway. But if a man must run from any lawman's gun, he'll find compadres in the old Sierra Madres again. But if a man must run from any lawman's gun, he'll find compadres in the Sierra Madre. Nice harmony, Rocco.
All right, lovely stuff. Thank you. That's great.
Well then,
That's one of the best songs ever written, I think. You know, it just works so perfectly well every way you look at it. And you know, this guy sent me an email. Nobody calls anymore. But this fellow sent an email and said, you know, my band is going to record that. How did you go about getting the rights to record it? Because I don't see it in the usual catalog where you do mechanical royalties, as they say, for songs that are written. You just look it up and you pay the statutory fee. Well, I couldn't think of how we paid that. It slipped my mind. And really and truly it had slipped our mind. The finely tuned, thoroughbred organization that is known as the Waybacks LLC had somehow let the payment for this slip through the cracks. So I thought, oh lordy. He wrote to me. I said, I can't think of it. Let me research it. Well, I didn't get back to him quickly, and he said, you know, I got in touch with the guy who wrote it. I thought, oh God. And he said, got in touch with him, and he said, oh yeah, whatever deal we had with the Waybacks, you can have that same deal. I said, okay, well, that's gonna work out good for everybody here. This is win-win, baby. No, we did. We ended up doing the honorable thing, and we got in touch with his name is Paul Krisman, Woody Paul. His name is, and he's a fine feller. And we said, Woody, we haven't paid you a red cent. We've sold several of these CDs that have this on here, and he said, it's all right. Take your time. You know, I got food in the fridge and a dry place to sleep. I'm doing all right. So you know, you fellas pay me when you can. What a champ! And one day we'll pay him. Oh, we sent him the CD, of course. Yeah, we're not, you know, maybe cheap, but we're not tacky. Oh, you know what? Else to take. This is one of those alternate tunings, you know. It's I think it's ADD. I'll get it. That's all right. So, actually, this is one of those tunings you just get all kinds of things for free. The tuning just works so hard for you. It's Dave, did you call this the Pacific Garden Mall tuning? Is that this is the tuning you hear out there? Maybe it'll evoke more than high seas misadventure for you if you spend any time on the Pacific Garden Mall. This is, as you listen to the song, kind of those, if there are any Dylan-ophiles out there, keep in mind Bob Dylan's Dream over this one. This is kind of the root song, again in the folk process. Mr. Zimmerman borrowed fairly heavily from this one. Sailing homeward one night on the deep, swinging in my hammock, I fell asleep. I dreamed a dream and I thought it true, concerning Franklin and his gallant crew. With 100 seamen he sailed away to the frozen ocean in the month of May, to seek a passage around the pole, where we poor sailors do sometimes go. Through cruel hardships they mainly strove, their ship on mountains of ice was drove. Only the Eskimo in his skin canoe was the only one that ever came through. Baffin Bay, where the whale fishes blow, the fate of Franklin no man may know. The fate of Franklin no tongue can tell, where Lord Franklin alone with his sailors do dwell. Now my burden, it gives me pain to find lost Franklin. I would cross the main. 10,000 pounds in gold would I freely give to say on earth that my Franklin do live. Sailing homeward one night on the deep,
Swinging in my hammock, I fell asleep. I dreamed a dream and I thought it through, concerning Franklin and his gallant crew. Very nice. Well, you know, I think there's time for one more. We pack up the old Saturn Conestoga and hit the trail. Thank you so much. Lovely evening. What a... tell you. Congratulations for having a great thing going here. And Arden, thank you very much. Just terrific. And all the folks that... she's right. There's a lot of folks put a lot of hard work into this. And it's a whole nonprofit... well, the Waybacks have been a nonprofit organization too. But they're intentionally a nonprofit. And it's a big distinction there. Somebody stop me. Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic port aboard this tiny ship. The mate was a mighty sailing man, the skipper brave and sure. 5 passengers set sail that day for a 3-hour tour. Everybody, a 3-hour tour. a ship set ground on the shore of this uncharted desert isle.
Everybody.
With Gilligan, the skipper too, the millionaire and his wife, the movie star, the professor and Mary Ann, here on Gilligan's
You folks rock. You rock. Thanks very much. Thanks a lot. I'm Stevie Coyle. Appreciate it. Alrighty. Thank you. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Thank you.
Thanks to all of you for coming out to Arden's Garden tonight, and thanks to our special guest, Mr. Stevie Coyle.
Appreciate it. All right. Lovely time.